Hello, this is Kylie J.N.S. and we are continuing with the Divine Feminine series. I am so excited to be churning out this information as we finish up. Now we are on part 11, and part 11 we're covering the goddesses. Okay, and so I know you guys have to be excited to learn about these wonderful, amazing goddesses, and we're just going to cover out, we're just going to cover throughout history the various archetypes of the goddess. Okay, because after we do the archetypes of the goddesses, we are going to actually talk about the archetypes of the divine feminine in on the human level, on the level in which you understand like the different types of archetypes, like this the siren, the mother, the maiden, the queen. We're going to talk about the actual archetypes of the collective unconscious of humanity in the next video, but this one we are talking about the feminine images of the goddess iconography that unfortunately had been buried and desecrated throughout time, as we know. We can't even cover all of the goddesses. There are millions and millions, but we're going to cover some of the more popular ones, and or not even necessarily popular, but interesting ones at least. And I don't think I can do this topic justice in one video. Obviously, we'll be here for decades, literally covering goddess iconography throughout the centuries. It's so vast. But what we can do, though, or luckily for you, however you want to look at it, in my book, The Divine Feminine and the Language of the Gods, which is Queen Mothership Part 3, I dedicated a whole chapter to talking about the various goddesses. And so chapter 3 is what we'll cover here. So the whole chapter 3 is what you're going to be learning about in terms of these feminine images of God. I may want to cover one more because it's very important. It's actually perhaps where maybe we should start, because I don't know if people know this, but the oldest God that was found on this planet, it's a female, obviously, but there's not a lot of information because it's so old and dated. Like, we're talking about, like, it is female, but it is very old, and so obviously we know Venus of Willendorf, but this goddess that I'm talking about is before that. Like, this is, like, I want to say, don't quote me, but could possibly be up to 50,000 years old. And so I find that very fascinating, and we may start there, or I may start with the book itself of chapter 11. But I'll give you some of the names of that we'll cover. We're going to be covering the divine feminine in the African Yoruba spiritual tradition. We'll be covering the divine feminine as far as like the Venus of Willendorf, but again, the Venus of Willendorf is a figurine of a female goddess that dates back much older than the dates that we even have for Venus of Willendorf, and it was found not just obviously in Austria, but throughout, you name it, it's been found throughout all of history, throughout all of Europe, throughout all of Africa, and that's actually like where it starts. Not necessarily Venus of Willendorf, but this idea that God is a female or feminine. And so we're also going to talk about the snake goddess of ancient Crete, which is from the Minoan civilization. So there's various civilizations. When we'll go visit the ancient Kemet pantheon, and we'll talk about Sekhmet, Hathor, Seshet, Serket. Of course, there's many more. I believe we'll be talking about. Is Isis in here? Oh yeah, she is. Aset, or Isis, if you, however you guys want to see it as. And then we'll be talking about the divine feminine in Muslim theology. Believe it or not, a lot. Well, you guys, you have Allah and you have Alat. That's the feminine version, but also in Muslim Sufism is more of where you see the divine feminine. Then after that, we'll be talking about the goddesses in Sumerian texts. We'll cover Tiamat. We'll cover Erishkigal. We'll cover the divine feminine in Mesopotamia, sorry. And then we'll also cover some pre-Adamic ancient orders. We'll specifically get into the goddess Kali. There should have been more other popular goddesses, divine feminine. Oh, okay, let's see. Do we get into? Oh yeah, we talk about the Black Madonna. We're going to talk about that, and we're also going to talk about the divine feminine in the Hebrew Bible, Lilith, post-Zoharic Kabbalah, Isilida Antor, Shinto goddess Amaterasu. That's a Japanese goddess. So we got Japan in there, and obviously we have Shakti, the Devi Mahatmya, which is the divine feminine in India. We have Kali, Durga, Parvati, Lakshmi. You know, so it's going to get deep. We're going to get deep. I think that's obviously it's so vast, so you guys have to bear with me with this information. This is all in chapter 3, by the way, and Gnostic. I'm looking for, because I want to at least give you the name of the goddess that is the oldest known goddess on the planet. I think that that's fair, and I think that at least we can start there, so you guys can at least research this on your own, because this information I came into after I published the Divine Feminine Language of the Gods. So I actually probably one day have to go and edit the manuscript, but nonetheless, you know, it's important that I cover this topic. So the oldest goddess, or oldest god out of male and female, by the way, the oldest god that's ever been discovered on this planet was named Kubaba, and later changed to Kabili. And believe it or not, this is a female. It is a black female, and it is a fat black female. It's quite fascinating. So this is the oldest god ever on this planet. And so obviously with the Gravitian period, which is 26,000, 21,000 years ago, they started to find, they started to develop these fertility figurines of females, of good luck, but it was also representative of the divine feminine. And so we have like all of these different types of Venuses. The Venus of Willendorf is not the only one. You have the Venus of Holy Fels, which is 35,000 years. Oh, you have the Venus of Monarus, which is about 11,000 years. Okay, and so these figurines were made of calcite or limestone, bone or ivory, or clay. Okay, and then you have the Venus of Tantan. That was found in Morocco. That was found in Africa. You have the Venus of Barakat Ram. That's the earliest form. But all these Venuses would pop up. Okay, there's so many more. This is not the only ones. They were all over Germany. Were all over Africa. Okay, and it was based off of Kubaba. And so obviously when Westerners find it, they say, oh, this is Venus of Tantan, Venus of... And so the reason why they were calling Hottentot Venus, the lady with the big old booty from Africa that had came over to Europe and had died of venereal disease due to her being sold into prostitution as a slave. The reason why we all know Venus of Hottentot, the big booty, speculation about the Stephalogia, which is like a condition where you have like a protruding hips and ass. It's found in Africa. It's found in the Americas as well. But obviously, it's the reason why, though, for those who wanted to know, like, well, why would they name? And obviously, they were degrading, and obviously, there's this obsession and fetishization and objectification and even jealousy of the actual bodies of black women. But when it came to Venus Hottentot, that black female, that they had her parts on display in France for years, or in Europe. It may not have been France. I believe it was France, though. Her Sarah Baartman. Obviously, Sarah Baartman was not even her real name. It's an English name, but she was Southwestern African, and she's obviously from the Khoikhoi people. If I'm pronouncing that wrong, I apologize. But Hottentot came from that name came from the Dutch colonial era, so it's Hottentot Venus. They were calling her Sarah Baartman. So when they saw this, they made the connection between the Venuses of Willendorf that they had found, that these Venus statues that they had found, and when they saw her, they made a full-blown mockery. They knew at the highest levels of what that meant to, this Kubaba body type that had been revered by melanated people, or even just the whole world, this Kubaba Venus type. And so when they saw that in physical form, they wanted to put her on display, bring her to Europe. Okay, look, we have Venus Hottentot, and to survive, she was forced into prostitution and eventually had died. So they took the oldest iconography of a god that was literally made in the image of Kubaba, the oldest god ever found on this planet, Sarah Baartman, Venus Hottentot. Mind you, we got all these Venus statues all over the world, right? That's 30,000, 40,000 years old. With the same body type, by the way. Big titties, big hips, big L ass. Okay? And what white people, what these Westerners did was they knew what she was, and it's like, okay, we'll take this Kubaba figure and desecrate it into prostitution and abuse it, maim it, ritualize it, sacrifice it, give it disease, and then hang it on display in a museum. That's a ritual binding, by the way, because here you have the original goddess, literally. And if you guys need to see pictures of Kubaba, you see the pictures of Kubaba, and you see the different types of Venus of Willendorf. You see it, and then all of a sudden, you have Venus of Tantan, all these different Venuses, and then they decide to go and say, okay, Venus Hottentot, and they make this whole this whole ritual about sacrificing the goddess iconography of the original iconography, which is Kubaba, a black goddess female that had this shape of Sarah Baartman, and then they named her Venus Hottentot. So they put stuff in front of people, but they know people are not going to research it, and then they also know that they can reverse engineer everything, and so they can get people to hate, or they can get people to justify the degradation and humiliation of women, and even certain types of women, especially black women, if they propagandize and brainwash a person enough with propaganda to do such a thing. And Sarah Baartman, even black people talk a lot of shit about Sarah Baartman as if she wasn't a slave that was violated and desecrated from the goddess that she was in her own village, and reduced to from the Venus Kubaba, Venus of Tantan, Venus of Willendorf to Venus Hottentot. Really Venus Hottentot. Okay, and so then she was so popular in Europe with the Venus Hottentot energy that's where you got all of that Victorian, the Victorian dress with the they had these dresses with these big, they try to give you an appearance of the big butt. Okay, and so that was the 19th century style. This was what the white women's wanted to get on, and there's pictures of this. There's so much documentations. It was to mimic the Venus look. It was particularly Sarah Baartman, but this was to mimic that, to come off with the appearance of a big booty. It's Victorian style, and obviously Sarah Baartman, she was very. I mean, the guys, they were talking about this Steffel, actually I probably pronounced it Stephologia. Steph. I want to make sure I got the name right, because I actually thought I had this condition because I have a very big butt, and so I thought that I remember I went to my friend and I said, I think I have this thing that Sarah Baartman had. It's called and it's to keep fat in the butt so that you can bring babies to term. It's not actually a condition. Actually, it's just genetics, because having fat in the booty and a certain hip ratio, certain certain waist to hip ratio, as well as the butt itself, the curvature in the spine, is genetic predisposition or biological hardwiring to make sure that you can carry a baby to term. That's all it's there for. And so that's why a lot of black women, African women, black American women, Caribbean women have those big butts, have been known for, like, oh, this big booty thing, this obsession with the big booty. It is a biological hardwiring to tell, to pretty much get a gauge of how fertile a woman is. And it's I'm not judging other women that don't have the flat ass, because I think all body types are beautiful. I am not one to sit and judge people off of their exterior. So this is not me trying to put one body type over the other. It's just it's been scientifically proven that even men prefer like a 0.8 ratio between the waist and the ass, even regardless of size. So actually you can be a size 0, but if it's like a 0.8 between your waist and your ass, then you would be deemed as biologically, just from a biological hardwiring, you would be deemed as someone that can actually carry the baby. And now if you were size, it doesn't matter if you're size 0, size 2, 10, 16, 18, as long as this proportion of the waist to the butt, 0.8, that's the quote-unquote hourglass shape. It's the hourglass shape. And hourglass shape can be found in women for all sizes, but that proportion is what is deemed, and they tested this throughout Europe, India, like on a scientific level. It's like the research is out there, you guys can Google it yourself. But even all of the statues of the ancient statues, like in India and Africa, if you test their even their waist to the butt, to the hip area, the proportion is still like 0.8 or 0.8. I should have had this research all pulled out, because now I'm just going off the dome. Hip to waist proportion. I know I gotta get that number portion. This research, hip to waist proportion research. Just bear with me. Okay, yeah, so it was the National Institutes of Health assessment of waist to hip ratio attractiveness in women. Okay, so it was 0.8 waist to hip ratio, which is considered the most attractive to men, and that is the hourglass shape. And it's also the most rarest. That's why everybody goes to get BBL, and what is it, BBL, and taking the fat out of the waist, the ribs out of the body, and all this stuff. With me, I have an hourglass shape, and so I never got the fascination with the big booty, big butt, and all that. I was in high school. I was called Big Booty Judy. It was not something that I felt was pleasant. It made me very uncomfortable. I used to dress like a boy sometimes to hide my shape. I used to go to extremes to try to hide my shape, because having a big butt, you're 13, 14, 15, I mean, come on, 16, and all this stuff with the video girl look and all that, with the big booty and all that. I looked like that at 13, 14, 15. I was very uncomfortable, because in high school, I mean, guys are going to, teenager boy going to be a teenager boy. They're going to see a girl with a huge ass butt, and again, this was not it was before the BBW era. So, the BBW, what was it called, BBL era, and so, that believe it or not, like, that shit was uncomfortable. Like, we stood out like women with big titties, big booties, hourglass shapes. We stood out like sore thumbs. In our teenage years and growing up in 2006, 2007, 2008. It did this BBL stuff with the big booty and big titty. That stuff didn't pop off. So when girls really had that back in the day, that's like that girl Delicious off of Flavor, like when everybody was fascinated like that, that stuff, like that was real, like that those were real bodies back then, and it wasn't a pleasant thing for those who actually had those bodies, because we lived with ourselves. If you have a big booty, you're going to try to hide it. If you don't have a big booty, you want to get a big booty to show it, and it's like, what? We don't understand that, but whatever. But nonetheless, this is not me denigrating anybody's body shape, because again, if you have athletic shape, it's a beautiful shape. You got different skinny, you got what's the athletic, what's the apple, pear shapes. It doesn't really matter. It's just the shell. It's just a meat suit. But the reason why, though, if you guys are wanting to know, why are people so obsessed with hourglass shape? The only reason why is because it tells your fertility, and that you will bring birth to term more so than if you had no shape, had no booty. And then there's also like the becoming of the woman, like, okay, you're 13, 14, 15, walking around, big titties, popping booty, and if you don't have the laws that we have now where you have to be 18 or whatever, but like back in the day it was like 13, 14, 15, are you ready, you're ready to give birth. So that's the only reason why it was there. But yeah, so we had Sarah Baartman being degraded, even though she represented the iconography of the oldest goddess statues that can ever be found on this planet. And then, as we know, with white supremacy, that's what they do. They reverse everything. They reverse. They know they had statues all over about this of this lady's body all throughout in their museums and stuff, and they still did that shit. And they have to pay for that. And especially during the age of the divine feminine, they just brought her body parts back to Africa. But they think they thought that's their atonement. That's their atonement for desecrating the dark goddess, Kubaba. I keep telling y'all gonna get a nice little awakening when y'all do actually, when people actually talk about like, oh, we're gonna meet God, and I gotta meet my creator when I meet God. And it's like, y'all gonna be in for a nice little pleasant surprise, or scared surprise, because that's why it's a running joke to certain entities to save the best for last. So they reverse everything on this planet. But then if you get initiated into certain schools of thoughts, into certain even societies, once you get to those highest levels, they actually just tell you like, okay, this is what it is. And then people find out this whole time, they've been walking around desecrating. They know it's reversed with the way the black women's are at this level, and then they prize the white women's, but then behind the scenes they all kind of know what's really up, and they and they still on their hands and knees praying to Black Madonna and Kubaba and Izili Dantor and Kalima and all the other black ass goddesses run around here. And so it's a running joke for them. But then they know, like, when it comes to like actual Africans and like Black Americans or Caribbeans, they know they mind all scrambled up, because they can't even imagine that God is a woman. They can't even fathom that. It's like, no way. Like the head God, the creator God of the pole of creation, they don't want to even accept that. And so, luckily for those of us in the know, they gonna get their awakening. Oh yeah. And so it'd be nice little laughter. I'd be cracking up, because they love to come at the black woman, pick on the black woman, degrade the fat black woman. And when they go meet Kubaba, the primordial mother, when they go and see Kalima, you see how thick. I don't know if everybody have visitations of Kalima, or come and get a visitation in a dream, how thick her hips are. Okay, Azili down to I mean, when they actually do go and meet, when they go and they love to go. I'm gonna go meet my creator when you go and meet Kubaba. Is she gonna bring up all that stuff? Oh, you said this about black women, about your creator. That's what you had to go and say. That was you was a pimp. You was a this how you treated women. This is what you did to women. You trafficked women. You harmed women. You beat women. You degraded women. This is and it's a nice little running joke that some of these again like some of the watchers of this planet are like children. Uh, they already know the truth, and so yes, things may be reversed on planet Earth, but they know what's gonna happen. They think it's funny. I don't think it's funny. I think it's fucked up. I think you guys should just have known the truth from the beginning. If you did, it is all. It's not even like for them. It's like well, it's in front of them. We told them it's right there. It's right there. It's right there. It's not our fault. That's a mirror in their eyes. That's the mirror of the collective unconscious of humanity's hatred towards melanated people, to the black women. And so they're like, well, they gotta deal with that trauma. They gotta deal with that shadow. We put it out there. That's how they feel. We put it. It's all out there. Nothing is hidden. They still continue to continuously deny what's in front of them. So it's a shadow that they have to face. It's something that's how they feel. But yeah, nonetheless, a nice little running joke. And so as far as like though them being in the know, knowing that God is a female. We talk about the pole of creation, God, like God. Like we have deities, you have avatars, you have ascended masters, you have all types of gods, right? Yes, but we're talking about the God, like whoa, like the God that creates the gods that you guys love down here so much. Those gods, the primordial mother. Yeah, that's a black woman, and you could look up at the universe and see that you living right inside of a black womb. You got the sun, to shed some light on that, but I know that's heavy for some people, but nonetheless, we're going to get into it. I wanted to start there with Kubaba. I wanted to bring that correlation between the Kubaba and the Venus goddesses, and then what they did with Sarah Baartman, knowing that she literally is a representation of those goddesses of the Venus archetype. You're telling you right there, Venus, Lucifer, primordial mother, a big fat black woman. It's right in front of you. But we're not going to get there because then you guys are very confused with what that information means, because there's two elements of even that information. So we're not going to get there. We're not going to go there because y'all just not ready. However, we're starting there. We're going to go into the goddess iconographies. I'm just going to play chapter 3. We're doing the audio book of my book, chapter 3, what I wrote. And that way, you guys, you chill out while you're driving, whatever you're doing, and just listen to the audiobook. I told you about the audiobook software where you upload your chapters or your manuscript, and it turns it to speech. So that's pretty cool. And so that's what we'll be doing. Okay, so I'll play that now, and I love you guys.
Chapter 3, Feminine Images of God. In a seminal opus, When God Was a Woman, the distinguished historian Merlin Stone embarks on an ambitious exploration of antiquity, tracing the veneration of the divine feminine to the hallowed epochs of the Paleolithic and Neolithic eras. In the Near and Middle East annals, Stone cogently asserts that the emergence of the religion devoted to the divine feminine constitutes an intertwined genesis with the earliest manifestations of spirituality known to humanity. Unquestionably, this goddess reigned as the supreme celestial entity, the paramount arbiter of creation and the augur of human destinies, the precursor of innovation, the healer of ailments, the huntress of courage, and the indomitable leader on the battlefield. Notably, esteemed anthropologists espouse the conjecture that these Upper Paleolithic societies quite conceivably adhered to a matrilineal structure, where women assumed a preeminent position at the heart of the familial unit. Stone expounds on the prevailing practice of ancestor worship in these communities, wherein the conceptualization of the progenitor of all human life may have been founded upon the image of the woman regarded as their primordial matriarch, an entity of divine ancestry. Over the last 2 centuries, scholars have unveiled myriad stone figurines depicting gravid women dispersed across Europe, the Middle East, and India, some dating back to 25 BC. These remarkable artifacts provide compelling evidence of the profound reverence accorded to worshipping the divine feminine in prehistoric societies. For the past 2,500 years, the global landscape and the human psyche have been under the sway of the masculine archetype, bereft of the harmonizing influence of the divine feminine and bereft of a sacred union between them. This profound imbalance has precipitated an egregious misalignment between human culture and consciousness on the one hand and the earth and the wider cosmos on the other. For instance, there was a historical tendency to vilify and slander female goddesses, branding them as evil demons and attributing to them unfounded crimes and transgressions. To any reader who entertains the conviction that all goddesses are demonized entities, I implore you to relinquish such preconceptions. We need to understand and appreciate both male and female sides to create a better balance in our world. Our culture and minds must harmonize with our planet and the universe for things to prosper. The Black Madonna, originating from melanated people, is a prominent illustration of how African beliefs have subtly merged with other faiths, often escaping notice. The Black Madonna is compared with the conventional fair-skinned Virgin Mary, though her true Black identity is often downplayed. This analysis offers a theoretical basis for understanding the lack of recognition and acceptance of the Madonna as Black, exploring its link to melanated folklore and traditional religious beliefs. This framework sheds light on how indigenous and African religions have influenced other world religions, challenging simplistic divisions between Western and non-Western faiths. There have been diverse theories regarding depicting the Madonna as Black in statues, paintings, and icons due to the reluctance of traditional Christianity and the Catholic Church to accept this notion. Some theories attempt to undermine her significance, proposing secrets held by the Church or the Black Virgin as a symbol of women's equality. Over 500 known Black Madonna representations exist worldwide, and some scholars suggest that devotion to Mary may have evolved from esoteric popular religion embraced by the Templars and Cathars, which was suppressed and deemed heretical. This alternative view centered on the divine feminine and the acknowledgement of women as compassionate and intelligent. Some scholars proposed that the Catholic Church remained silent about the Black Madonna's origins because she represents the feminine principle that traces back to the beginning of human consciousness as Mother Earth, the creator of all life. The Black Madonna symbolizes the mother, creator, and protector of the earth, serving as a supreme advisor and a spiritual intervening force. The Catholic Church also altered doctrine to maintain the suppression of women's roles. The concept of the Immaculate Conception of Jesus allowed him to be free of original sin. Similarly, the Church later declared Mary to be free of original sin, elevating her to a sinless and pure status. This move dissociated her from the sinful portrayal of Eve and strengthened her association as a virgin and pure figure. Scholar Lucia Birnbaum emphasizes Africa's contributions to the world, providing values that predate and remain relevant in a world facing spiritual and physical challenges. Some African cultures maintain a connection with the earth, favor matriarchal families, and pass down oral traditions through mothers. Some scholars have even substantiated in rock art the idea that Africans played a foundational role in Abrahamic religions, Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. The veneration of the Madonna by non-Christians, such as Hindus, reflects a universal aspect of faith that transcends East-West dichotomies, found also in other cultures that maintain a tradition of goddess worship. Scholars can bridge the gap between past and present religious beliefs by closely examining historical data and contemporary information, offering valuable insights into people's spiritual practices. The divine feminine in the Hebrew Bible. The Hebrew Bible takes a different approach from the surrounding culture's belief in multiple gods and their consorts, opting for a singular God who is the creator of all, male and female. This God forms a deep covenantal relationship with the children of Israel, often depicted as a marriage, with God as the husband and Israel as the wife. While this Old Testament God is often portrayed as a king and warrior, there are also expressions of compassion and care for strangers. The intercessions of figures like Abraham, Moses, and Samuel reveal a complex tension within God, balancing justice and mercy. Although rarely, there are moments where God is described using maternal terms. In the book of Proverbs, wisdom is personified as a woman and is considered God's first creation and guiding spirit. The concept of wisdom is connected to the figure of a virtuous woman in chapter 31, but the book also contains less positive portrayals of women. In the Talmud, God is frequently referred to as a father, both a father/king/teacher and a more transcendent father in heaven. The relationship between God and humanity is explored through various metaphors and allegories, including the loving relationship between God and Israel in the Song of Songs. The Talmud presents God with two clusters of attributes, law, minid hadin, and mercy, minid hareimim, united in a divine will that surpasses both. The term Shekinah is used to signify God's presence in the world, and it is grammatically feminine. During the medieval philosophical era, attributing any gender to God was deemed illogical and theologically unacceptable. The Shekinah was seen as God's glorious presence and distinct but genderless creation. The concept of wisdom was interpreted differently in medieval poetry and Kabbalah. It was sometimes seen as the soul, yearning for reunion with God, envisioned as male. This notion of reunion reflected a larger drama of reconciliation between male and female principles within the divine itself, as explored in mystical Kabbalistic teachings. What about Lilith? Lilith, a prominent figure in Mesopotamian and Judaic mythology, is hypothesized to have been Adam's first wife and the primordial woman. She is said to have been banished from the Garden of Eden for refusing to submit to Adam. References to Lilith can be found in biblical Hebrew texts, such as the Book of Isaiah and Mandean, and Jewish mythological sources from around 500 CE onwards. Numerous historiolas from different cultures provide partial descriptions of her character. In the Alphabet of Siraxi, 701,000 AD, Lilith is depicted as Adam's first wife, created from the same clay and at the same time as him. Throughout the Middle Ages, the legend of Lilith expanded considerably, finding its place in the tradition of Agadir, the Zohar, and Jewish mysticism. In the writings of Isaac ben Jacob Hakohen from the 13th century, Lilith leaves Adam after refusing to be subordinate to him. She later refuses to return to the Garden of Eden after coupling with the archangel Samael. Various interpretations of Lilith emerge from later Jewish materials, yet more information is needed regarding the Sumerian, Akkadian, Assyrian, and Babylonian perspectives on this type of spirit. In Hebrew texts, the term Lilith or Lilith is translated as night creatures and appears in a list of animals in Isaiah 34. It is worth noting that the Lilith reference in Isaiah 34:14 does not appear in commonly used Bible translations like KJV and NIV. The alphabet text presents Lilith's creation following God's words in Genesis 2:18. According to this account, after creating Adam and realizing his solitude, God fashions Lilith from the earth, just as he did with Adam. However, conflict arises between Adam and Lilith as they both assert dominance. Lilith eventually invokes the ineffable name and flies away to be the queen of the universe. In one alternative story, Lilith is associated with the creation of luminaries. The first light, symbolizing mercy, one of the Sephirot, emerges on the first day of creation when God proclaims, "Let there be light." Within Kabbalistic mysticism, there were efforts to establish a more transparent relationship between Lilith and God. Her major characteristics had been well developed by the end of the Talmudic period, and around 6 centuries later, in the 13th century Spanish Kabbalistic writings, she reappeared with her life history becoming known in greater mythological detail. Different versions describe her creation, some suggesting that she was brought into existence before Adam on the 5th day as part of the living creatures filling the waters. Another version recounts her creation shortly before Adam, being fashioned from the same substance. Yet, another version proposes that God originally created both Adam and Lilith as a singular being, with Lilith's soul residing in the depths of the great abyss. When God summoned her, she joined Adam, but numerous souls from the left side sought to attach themselves to him, which God drove away. Adam was left soulless until a cloud descended, and God commanded the earth to produce a living soul. Kabbalistic interpretations. Within the Kabbalistic tradition of the 12th century Franco-Germany, as articulated in Sefer HaBehir, the 10 Sephirot, divine attributes and symbols governing God's manifestation in the world, incorporate the 10th Sephirah as Shekinah. This aspect is also associated with Solomon's wisdom and Knesset Israel, representing the sacred community of Israel. Shekinah is the receptive point of contact between the transcendent divinity and the known cosmos. In the 13th century Spanish Kabbalah, notably in the Zohar, an intricate intra-divine drama unfolds. The Song of Songs is reinterpreted as an allegory of love and longing within a complex divine realm. The femininity attributed to Shekinah as the passive aspect at the bottom of the Sephirot structure is complemented by the feminized depiction of the third Sephirah, Binah, insight, often called the higher Shekinah and the mother of the Sephirot. Binah is seen as a locus of creative and healing power, receiving divine energies from the second Sephirah, Chokmah, considered male, and diffusing them within the intra-divine realm. The lower Shekinah, also known as Malkut, extends into the created world and is occasionally associated with the oral law. Post-Zoharic Kabbalah emphasizes human action, mitzvot, and good deeds in energizing the Shekinah and restoring its union with the other Sephirot. In the influential Lurianic Kabbalah of the 16th century, Shekinah is somewhat depersonalized and reimagined as the facet of God that is lost in the world, experiencing exile and longing for reunion and redemption. This notion is reflected in the Tekines, Yiddish devotional prayers authored for and sometimes by women during an early modern period. It later forms the basis for Hasidism's concept of seeking and restoring the sparks of divinity scattered throughout creation. Azili Dantor, the eminent Elwa or elder spirit of the patrilineage in Haitian Vodou, takes center stage as the embodiment of divine love's essence, known as Urzili. Her visage, infused with a dark complexion and maternal essence, exemplifies one of the feminine spirits in this vibrant tradition, symbolizing the multifaceted facets of womanhood. Within the expansive realm of Urzili, distinct incarnations resonate, with Lassarin, the mermaid, Urzili Fred, and Ezili Dantor standing prominently among them. These personifications offer a kaleidoscope of feminine archetypes, each weaving a unique tapestry of emotions and energies within Haitian Vodou's vibrant cosmology. The intriguing dynamic between Ezili Dantor and her rival, Azili Fred, unfolds as an enthralling narrative of love and conflict. Legends recount their fierce clash over the affections of Ogu, leaving Dantor bearing the Tuamak scars as potent reminders of their tumultuous encounter. While Fred gleams with a fair complexion and an aura of opulence, Dantor's essence profoundly resonates with the women of the lower stratum, embodying their struggles and aspirations. Azili Dantor's ire carries immense power, capable of unleashing destruction in nature's elemental forces. A storm of emotions, her wrath may manifest in a form of punishing illnesses inflicted upon those who dare to provoke her displeasure. She is a fierce protector of women, children, gays, and lesbians. This red-eyed force, aptly dubbed Urzili, Chi Rouge, wields the potent energy of nature's fury and leaves an indelible impression on the spirits of the Haitian people. Ezili Dantor was summoned by enslaved Haitians to help them win the Haitian Revolution. The enigmatic link between Ezili Dantor and the Black Madonna of Chenstokhova tantalizes scholars and seekers alike. Speculations trace it back to the presence of Polish soldiers during the Haitian Revolution, whose struggles mirrored those of the enslaved Haitians fighting for liberation. The Poles were granted citizenship in the newly fledged Republic of Haiti through unexpected alliances, leaving an enduring legacy within the island's vibrant cultural tapestry. Haitian Vodou weaves a rich tapestry of spirituality, entwining mortal and divine realms through the enigmatic Loa, each embodying a unique facet of life and love. Among them, the fierce and maternal presence of Ezili Dantor stands resolute, a testament to the enduring spirit of womanhood and the vibrant energies of Haitian religious expression. Shinto goddess Amaterasu, the paramount figure in Japanese mythology, occupies the exalted position of the highest deity. Revered as the great and illustrious sun goddess, she embodies the radiant orb that ascends daily. As an emblematic representation of the rising sun and the very essence of Japan, Amaterasu reigns as the sovereign of the kami, the divine spirits, and the ruler of the universe. From her lineage springs the Japanese imperial family, their claim of descent from her, imbuing them with the sacred mandate to govern Japan by divine right. Amaterasu's name encapsulates her celestial majesty at the core of Shinto, Japan's indigenous faith, and the Japanese people's spiritual life. Translated as shines from heaven, her appellation fuses the character Z, denoting heaven or imperial, with a symbolizing shines. As the queen of heaven, the kami, and the very fabric of creation, Amaterasu holds sway over the realm of divinity, having inherited the role of goddess of creation from her father, Izanagi, the defender of the living world from the domains of the deceased. Primarily, Amaterasu assumes the role of the sun goddess, a position of profound significance. As the literal rising sun, she illuminates all existence, providing sustenance to all living beings and marking the harmonious passage from day to night. The sun, a symbol of order and purity, encapsulates two cardinal tenets of Shinto spirituality: The ordered structure of creation, from the highest deity, Amaterasu, to the inhabitants of the infernal hells, reflects the harmonious tapestry of Japanese society. Amaterasu's spiritual prominence extends deep into Japan's history. Even before the formalization of Shinto during the Meiji Restoration, her influence pervaded the Japanese spiritual landscape. However, during the formal recognition of Shinto as a state religion, Amaterasu's divine role solidified, reaffirming the Japanese imperial family's position as the head of a now democratized Japan. Though the era of state Shinto ceased after World War II, Amaterasu and the imperial family continue to hold a sacred place in Japanese spiritual life. Through archaeological findings, scholars speculate that the ancient sun cult prevalent in the region might have venerated a manifestation of Amaterasu. Her luminous presence is an enduring symbol of Japan's spiritual heritage, radiating the essence of divine illumination upon the land and its people. The divine feminine in Shakti. Shakti is the essence of energy, the dynamic principle through which all divinity functions, thereby unveiling the feminine as the foundational support upon which the masculine relies. Within the expanse of the revered Devi Mahatmya, the eminent scripture of the Shakti tradition, every goddess emerges as an aspect of the supreme female force, the singular essence manifesting in diverse expressions, bestowing upon the world and the cosmos the galvanic energy that propels existence. Through profound philosophical treatises and the artistry of metaphor, the scripture illuminates that the potentiality of masculine existence finds its genuine activation through the embrace of the feminine divine. Recently, Rajesh Talwar, an Indian author, has critically examined Western religious paradigms and eloquently expounded upon the concept of the sacred feminine, contextualizing it within the realm of the North Indian goddess Vaishno Devi. In the sacred narratives, we encounter the harmonious unions between masculine and feminine deities. Brahma finds his counterpart in Sarasvati, while Shiva forms a celestial bond with Parvati, who later reveals herself through various avatars, incarnations, such as Sati, Durga, and Kali, each embodying distinct aspects of her formidable presence. With its rich tapestry of goddesses, Hinduism encompasses them all under the grandeur of the great goddess Devi. In the interplay of divine relationships, the divine feminine emerges as a force that complements the divine masculine and serves as the fulcrum of creation's sacred dance. In Hindu mythology, Kali and Durga are two prominent forms of the divine feminine, often associated with power, protection, and transformation. Kali is a fierce and awe-inspiring goddess, often depicted with black or dark blue skin, wild hair, and a garland of skulls. She is the embodiment of the raw and primal energy of Shakti. Kali is known as the destroyer of evil forces and the ego, symbolizing the impermanence of life and the cyclical nature of existence. She is both fearsome and compassionate, as she destroys negativity and ignorance to pave the way for spiritual growth and enlightenment. Durga is depicted as a radiant and benevolent goddess, often riding a lion or tiger. She is a symbol of strength, courage, and protection. Durga is celebrated during the festival of Navaratri, where her 9 forms, known as Navadurga, are worshipped over 9 days. Each form represents a different aspect of the divine feminine, such as wisdom, beauty, and creativity. Durga is often invoked to overcome obstacles and challenges and to bring about positive change and blessing. Apart from Kali and Durga, other Shakti goddesses in Hindu mythology represent different facets of feminine power and energy. Other popular goddesses, Lakshmi, the goddess of wealth and prosperity, embodies abundance and fortune. Sarasvati, the goddess of knowledge, art, and music, symbolizes wisdom and creativity. Parvati, the consort of Shiva, represents love, devotion, and family life. Each of these goddesses adds depth and richness to the concept of the divine feminine, offering devotees various avenues for spiritual connection and guidance. In Hinduism, the Shakti goddesses are revered and worshipped with deep devotion and gratitude. They serve as sources of inspiration and strength, guiding believers through life's challenges and reminding them of the inherent power and divinity within each individual. There are millions of them. Overall, Kali, Durga, and the other Shakti goddesses form a vibrant tapestry of divine feminine energy in Hindu mythology, inspiring awe, reverence, and a sense of connection to the eternal source of life and creation. The divine feminine in African Yoruba religion. Oduduwa, revered as the chief goddess of the Yoruba people, holds a significant place in their mythology as the creator and representative of the earth. Often associated with her husband, Obatala, as an androgynous divinity, they jointly symbolize the profound connection between heaven and earth. Oduduwa is considered a primordial deity and a deified ancestor, occupying a unique role in Yoruba cosmology. According to the myth, Oduduwa's creation of the earth and its inhabitants was in response to Obatala's failure to fulfill Olodumari's divine command caused by drunkenness. In the Yoruba's vivid imagery, the universe is likened to two cut calabashes, one covering the other, representing the concave firmament above, meeting the earth at the horizon. In this depiction, Oduduwa and Obatala embody heaven and earth, locked together like the closed calabashes, forever united and inseparable. Interestingly, a tale portrays Oduduwa as blind. During the dawn of existence, Oduduwa and Obatala found themselves trapped in darkness within the calabash. Frustration and blame led to a fierce quarrel, culminating in Obatala tearing out Oduduwa's eyes. In retaliation, Oduduwa cursed him, decreeing that he would subsist solely on snails. This myth unveils a complex interplay of emotions and actions among the divine beings, reflecting the Yoruba's understanding of the complexities of existence. Beyond her role as the Earth's creator, Oduduwa is also regarded as the patroness of love. One tale recounts her passionate encounter with a captivating hunter, leading to a genuine romance. However, as swiftly as her passion ignited, it waned, and Oduduwa left the hunter, promising to protect him and all who would dwell in the place where they shared their intimate moments. This event led to the foundation of the town of Edo, a testament to the goddess's influence and its importance in Yoruba tradition. In Yoruba culture, Oduduwa's presence reverberates through the intertwined narratives of creation, love, and protection. As the chief goddess, she embodies the enduring connection between humanity and the divine, shaping the Yoruba's perception of their place in the cosmos. The divine feminine in ancient art. The Venus of Willendorf. In the quaint village of Willendorf, Austria, lies one of the most ancient relics of female form, the enigmatic Venus of Willendorf. Dating back to the Paleolithic era, around 25,000 to 20,000 BCE. This small yet captivating sculpture stands at a mere 11 centimeters, 4.3 inches, in height. Its portrayal of a faceless, full-bodied female figure exudes an aura of profound symbolism. The Venus of Willendorf's form leaves no doubt about its association with fertility, pregnancy, and birth concepts. The artist masterfully accentuates the feminine aspects of the figure, with generous breasts and a pronounced stomach that gracefully curves over an emphasized pubic area. These artistic choices celebrate the essence of womanhood, emphasizing the potent powers of creation and nurturing. Notably, the figure's missing face is a common feature among Paleolithic Venus figurines. Renowned art historian Christopher Whitcomb aptly refers to these figures as aniconic, deliberately devoid of facial features. The absence of a face allows the focus to rest entirely on the female body and its profound significance concerning fertility and child-rearing. In these representations, identity transcends the individual and embraces the collective essence of femininity as the wellspring of life. In the treasure troves of the Paleolithic period, a striking observation emerges: the abundance of female figurines compared to their male counterparts. This striking disparity fuels the speculation that women played a prominent role in the Paleolithic culture, potentially hinting at the existence of a matriarchal society. As we ponder the Venus of Willendorf and her counterparts, we delve into the enigmatic past, uncovering the timeless fascination with the divine feminine and the enduring significance of womanhood in human history. Through these ancient figures, we glimpse the artistic expression of the sacred mysteries of creation and the intrinsic interplay of fertility, birth, and nurturing that transcends time and culture. The Venus of Willendorf stands as a poignant testament to the reverence for the primal forces of life that have echoed through the ages. The snake goddess of ancient Crete. The idea of a powerful earth goddess, often seen as the mother of all, wasn't unique to one place or time. In ancient Crete, around the 16th century BCE, the Minoan civilization celebrated this concept, too. They crafted small statues that are now known as the snake goddess figurines. Imagine a sensual female figure, her breasts exposed, holding snakes in her hands. These intriguing figurines leave us with questions about their purpose. Were the bare breasts a symbol of fertility, sexuality, or nurturing through breastfeeding? And why the snakes? These slithery creatures could have represented renewal, a connection to the underworld, or healing abilities. While the exact role of these figurines remains a mystery, they stand out as some of the most fascinating artworks from ancient Crete. These statuettes offer a peek into a society that thrived on organized local farming. This concept suggests that women held significant influence in Minoan social aspects of the snake goddess figurines, hinting at a culture where the feminine was dominant in all its nurturing and powerful forms. The divine feminine in Kemet and Mot. In the fascinating tapestry of ancient Kemet's art and culture, a pantheon of revered female deities emerges, each holding a unique role and significance. Among them, the celestial figure of Mot stands as a beacon of truth, justice, balance, and cosmic harmony. Often adorned with an ostrich feather crowning her head, Mot embodies the bedrock principles upon which the Kemetians believed the universe and the world rested. A profound connection with women's fertility, the intricate cycles of menstruation, conception, and the nurturing provision of breast milk was intrinsic to these divine feminine forces. For the devoted Kemetians, the culmination of existence and the afterlife hinged on Mot's benevolent judgment. In the realm beyond, the hearts of the departed would be weighed against the pure white feather of her standard. Should their hearts be as light as this ethereal plume, the gates of Osiris' paradisiacal realm would swing open, granting entry to those who are found deserving. Sekhmet, meaning she who is powerful or the one who loves Mot, was a significant goddess in ancient Kemetians mythology. She was associated with the scorching desert sun, plagues, chaos, war, and healing. Legend has it that Sekhmet was born from the fiery eye of the sun god Ra when he cast his gaze upon earth. Initially, Ra created her to punish humans for disobedience and for not living in harmony with the principles of Mot, which represented balance and order. In artistic depictions, Sekhmet was portrayed as a lion-headed woman wearing a sun disk on her head. She was both fearsome and awe-inspiring, often considered the protector of pharaohs and their leader in times of war. Interestingly, during more peaceful moments, she transformed into Bastet, the benevolent household cat goddess. Despite her terrifying reputation, Sekhmet had a softer side. She was believed to have the power to avert plagues and cure diseases, making her the patron deity of physicians and healers. The ancient Kemetians believed that Sekhmet held solutions to various problems. They offered food, drinks, and music to appease her, seek her favor, and burn incense in her honor. They also whispered their prayers into the ears of cat mimes, considering them a direct link to the divine, hoping that their prayers would be answered through this connection. This multifaceted goddess played a significant role in the ancient Kemetians' belief system, embodying both the potential for destruction and the capacity for healing and protection. Sekhmet held a special place in Kemetians' beliefs, closely tied to kingship. She was often seen as the mother of Mahis, a lion god who protected pharaohs. Some ancient texts even suggest that pharaohs were believed to be conceived by Sekhmet. An example of this myth shows Pharaoh Niuser being nursed by Sekhmet in a carving. This idea continued into the New Kingdom period. In the Temple of Seti I, reliefs show the pharaoh being nursed by Hathor, who had the title mistress of the mansion of Sekhmet. Ramesses II, Seti's son, took Sekhmet as a symbol of his power in battle. In depictions of the Battle of Kadesh, you can see Sekhmet on his horse, her fiery presence scorching the bodies of enemy soldiers. Amenhotep III, a pharaoh from Dynasty 18, seemed particularly fascinated by Sekhmet. He built hundreds of statues of her in the precinct of Mit's temple, also known as Esheru, located south of the Great Temple of Amun in Karnak. It's believed that he had one statue every day of the year, and daily offerings were made to honor Sekhmet. Hathor, a cherished figure among Kemet's divine pantheon, held a multifaceted role in the hearts of ancient Kemetians. Her portfolio included domains like love, beauty, music, dance, fertility, and the pursuit of pleasure. Although often recognized as the guardian of women, her appeal transcended gender lines, attracting both male and female devotees who served as priests and priestesses in her hallowed sanctuaries. Dindara stood as the epicenter of her worship, and her veneration stretched back into the hazy recesses of Kemet's history, possibly preceding recorded annals. Hathor, regarded as the offspring of Ra, the radiant sun god, bore the illustrious epithet the Eye of Ra as a testament to her role as his staunch defender. As the spouse of Horus, she played a dual role, intertwined with the pharaoh's mother as the nurturing of Horus's caregiver and as the consort of the pharaoh himself in the guise of Horus. As the goddess of beauty, Hathor also presided over the world of cosmetics. Bedecking oneself with makeup was not merely a cosmetic endeavor but a form of reverence to Hathor, prompting offerings of mirrors and decorative paraphernalia in her honor. An annual ritual saw her statue embark on a boat journey to Edfu, reuniting with Horus, an event inaugurating a jubilant festival celebrating their divine union. Hathor's image found artistic expression in various forms. Still, she is most commonly depicted as a woman with regal cow horns gracing her head and a radiant sun disk, symbolizing her maternal and celestial aspects. At times, she embodied the fierce spirit of a lioness, the serpentine allure of a cobra, or the rooted stability of a sycamore tree. Cows were also revered for their nurturing nature, prominently featured in the pre-dynastic art of ancient Egypt, linking Hathor to cattle and the vast expanse of the sky. Though her presence became more explicit in later periods, Hathor's divine influence burgeoned over time, reflected in her iconic portrayal with horns gracefully arching outwards. She was often called the Seven Hathors, and Kemation's texts occasionally multiplied her manifestations to staggering numbers, making her more of a diverse embodiment rather than a singular entity. Hathor was not just a deity but an embodiment of celebration itself. She reigned over domains such as music, dance, the crafting of garlands, the essence of myrrh, and the exuberance of intoxication. Hymns and temple reliefs came alive with the melodious strains of tambourines, harps, lyres, and the tinkling sistrum, an instrument that carried erotic undertones, symbolizing the creation of life itself. Hathor's relationships with other gods were as varied as her attributes. She could be the consort of numerous male deities, with Ra taking a prominent role. Mud often stood beside Amun, but in the realm of fertility, Hathor or Isis would step into the divine embrace, underscoring her adaptability and significance within the tapestry of Kemation's mythology. Seshet, known variously as Sheshar, Seshater, or Sapphic Abi, held an esteemed place in the pantheon of Kemetian deities. She embodied literacy, mathematics, architecture, and wisdom, often regarded as the female counterpart to Tehuti, the god of knowledge. In their divine relationship, Seshet was Tehuti's mentor, imparting her profound wisdom and teachings. From the union of Tehuti and Seshet, a child named Hornub emerged. The intriguing name Hornub carried a profound meaning, translating to gold Horus, at times forging a connection between Seshet and the goddess Isis. Within the royal court, Seshet assumed the role of the pharaoh's scribe, meticulously recording the monarch's achievements and triumphs, including the spoils of war and the captives brought from battlefields. Intriguingly, it was believed that Seshet also chronicled the deeds of all individuals on the sacred Persea tree's leaves. Seshet's dominion extended to libraries, earning her the moniker Mistress of the House of Books. She vigilantly guarded the celestial library of the gods while simultaneously patronizing earthly libraries. Her influence transcended the written word to encompass all forms of inscription, including accounting, auditing, and census taking. According to a myth, she was not only the keeper of writing but its inventor, although her spouse Tehuti disseminated this skill to humanity. A captivating facet of Seshet's depiction is that she stands alone as the only female figure captured in the act of writing. While other women were portrayed holding scribes' tools, symbolizing their capacity for writing, Seshet created the act itself. She also bore the epithet Mistress of the House of Archetypes. As early as the Second Dynasty, she was intrinsically linked to the Pedshis, a ritual called stretching the cord, integral to the foundation ceremonies of stone buildings. Here, the cord refers to mason's line used to measure the dimensions of the forthcoming structure. Occasionally, Seshet intertwined with Nephthys, as seen in the pyramid texts, where she assumes the title the Lady of the House, a clear nod to Nephthys. In return, Nephthys is hailed as Seshet, foremost of builders. Iconographically, Seshet donned the attire of a leopard-skin dress akin to those worn by the Sem priests. Her headdress was captivating, crowned with a flower or a seven-pointed star perched upon a pair of inverted horns. This intriguing headdress was the source of her alternate title, Sapphic Abi or Sapphic Abui, which roughly translates to She of Two Horns. Some suggest that these horns initially symbolized a crescent moon, representing her divine consort, Tehuti. Others propose that they might have taken the form of a bow, though this remains a matter of debate among scholars. Her intricate headdress even mirrored her name, devoid of phonetic spelling. The semicircular bread loaf and the seated woman were both female determinatives, lending a visual dimension to her identity. Often, she would be depicted offering palm branches, symbolizing many years, to the pharaoh, invoking blessings for a long and prosperous reign. Isis, known initially as Ozit, played a pivotal role in the rich tapestry of ancient Kemetian spirituality. Her name, Ozit, translates to the throne or seat, echoing her association with royal lineage. In the early days of Kemetic tradition, the matrilineal or matriarchal bloodline held sway, determining and appointing the pharaoh. While she is now commonly referred to as the Isis, her original Chumedian name, Iset, has a profound meaning, Queen of the Throne, a direct reference to her iconic headdress, often resembling a majestic throne. Intriguingly, she would occasionally adopt the vulture headdress of the goddess Mut or don a disc flanked by horns, a nod to the goddess Hathor, as she assimilated their attributes. Isis also takes on the role of a winged goddess, bringing the gift of fresh air to the underworld during her unions with her husband. In the enigmatic realm of ancient Chumedian art, she is frequently portrayed as a woman adorned with a mysterious seven-pointed emblem above her head. The true meaning remains shrouded in mystery. This emblem even gave rise to an alternative name for the goddess Seshet, known as Sefketabwi, which translates to seven-horned. Depictions of Isis often reveal her holding a palm stem marked with notches that symbolize the meticulous recording of the passage of time. This symbol was especially crucial for tracking a pharaoh's allotted lifespan. She is also seen wielding various other tools and, quite notably, clutching knotted cords stretched out for land and structural surveys. Her attire is intriguing, often draped in a cheetah or leopard hide, a symbol closely tied to funerary priests. If not wearing the hide, her dress would bear the pattern of a spotted feline, believed to symbolize the stars, signifying eternity and their cosmic connection. Isis's connection to Chumedian kingship is profound. She is most frequently depicted as a gorgeous woman, adorned in a sheath dress, often featuring the hieroglyphic sign of the throne, or graced with a radiant solar disk and the graceful arcs of cow's horns upon her head. Occasionally, she takes on more cryptic forms: a scorpion, a bird, a sow, or a cow. Curiously, there are no recorded references to Isis before the 5th dynasty, around 2465 to 2325 BCE. However, she emerges prominently in the pyramid texts, circa 2350 to 2100 BCE, offering guidance to the departed king. As the concept of the afterlife evolved towards greater inclusivity, Isis extended her benevolent hand to all deceased Chumedians. One of the crowning achievements of Isis's veneration was the construction of a significant temple by the late-period king Nakhti II, around 360–343 BCE, at Bebiat el-Hagar in the central Nile Delta. Further, during the Greco-Roman era, when Isis held a dominant position among Chumedian goddesses, several vital temples, including the captivating island temple of Philae, graced the landscape. In the cosmopolitan hub of Alexandria, she became the revered patroness of seafarers. From there, her divine influence rippled across Greece and Rome. It's even speculated that the nurturing imagery of Isis cradling baby Horus influenced early Christian artists in their depictions of the Virgin Mary and the infant Jesus. But let us delve deeper into the myths and magic surrounding Isis's timeless legacy. She was both the sister and wife of Osiris, the revered ruler of the underworld. The sacred stories narrate a profound love that transcended even the confines of the womb. Isis's motherly embrace extended to Horus, the guardian of the pharaoh, marking her as a maternal protector. However, the most renowned tale unfolds when Seth, the jealous brother of Osiris, cruelly dismembered him, scattering his body parts across Kemet. The ancient legends recount how the other deities, awestruck by Isis's unwavering dedication, rallied to help her resurrect her beloved husband. Isis occupied a paramount place in the hearts of ancient Chumedians due to her multifaceted powers. She was the guardian of women and the bestower of magic. Initially a supporting figure alongside her husband Osiris, her millennia of devotion transformed her into the queen of the universe, the embodiment of cosmic order. By the Roman era, she was believed to wield control over the very fabric of destiny. Isis was revered for her profound magical prowess, allowing her to breathe life back into Osiris, shield and mend Horus, and unerring cunning. Her esoteric knowledge surpassed that of a million gods, making her an invincible force. In the narratives of the New Kingdom, within the story of the contendings of Horus and Set, Isis harnesses her transformative abilities to outwit Set during his conflicts with her son. On one occasion, she assumes the guise of a young woman embroiled in an inheritance dispute tucked into Set's usurpation of Osiris's throne. In a sly twist, Isis daunts Set, prompting him to question the fairness of his actions. Later texts paint her as a formidable warrior, using her transformative powers to combat and defeat Set and his loyalists. As the eras progressed, Isis's connection with Hathor led to a merging of their attributes. This transformation manifested in her adoption of a sistrum rattle and a headdress adorned with cow horns enveloping a radiant sun disk. Sometimes, these headdresses were artfully combined with the throne glyph atop the sun disk. In the same epoch, she began to sport the regal symbol of a human queen, such as a vulture-shaped crown atop her head, along with the royal uraeus, the rearing cobra, poised on her brow. In the times of the Ptolemaic and Roman empires, statues and figurines of Isis often mirrored Greek sculptural styles, harmoniously blending elements from both Egyptian and Greek traditions. These representations ingeniously showcased her intricate connections with other goddesses, presenting Isis Thermuthis as a unique combination of Isis and Renenu-Tet, symbolizing agricultural fertility with a lower snake-like body. The intriguing figurines of a woman adorned in an elaborate headdress, bearing her genitals, may represent Isis Aphrodite, further underscoring her remarkable adaptability and universality across cultures and epochs. Serket, known by various names like Serket, Selkis, or Selkit, stands as an enigmatic figure in the annals of Kemetian mythology. She's an ancient guardian, revered in the early days of Kemet's spiritual journey, dating back to the pre-dynastic period, a time spanning roughly from 6000 to 3150 BCE, making her one of the most ancient deities of the land. Her dominion is one of healing, magic, and safeguarding, bearing a name that carries a profound weight: she who causes the throat to breed. Serket's symbolism unfurls through the scorpion, the ankh, and the was scepter, each eloquently embodying her benevolent aspects. Even in the distant days of the pre-dynastic era, Serket assumed the role of guardian, particularly of kings. Archaeological discoveries linking her, under the name Serket, to the Scorpion kings, rulers vanquished around the time of Pharaoh Armor, circa 3150 BCE, suggest her enduring connection to protection. Her worship, initially rooted in the delta region of Lower Kemet, later spread its roots to the cities of Upper Kemet. As the sands of time continued to flow, Serket's presence intertwined with that of Nun, or Nu, known as the father of the gods, during the First Dynasty, circa 3150 to 2890 BCE. Nun embodied the watery abyss from which the primordial hill, the Benben, emerged, the foundation upon which Adam, often identified with Ra, stood during the world's creation. While her role in this Genesis story remains shrouded in mystery, clues suggest she might have been Adam's spouse, the firstborn of Nun, or perhaps even Nin's consort. In later portrayals, Serket is envisaged among the divine passengers aboard Ra's celestial barge, vigilantly watching over the vessel's nocturnal odyssey, guarding it against the menacing serpent Apophis. Serket dominates venomous creatures, with the scorpion reigning supreme in her iconography. In her depictions, she emerges as a radiant woman, her arms outstretched in a protective gesture, a poised scorpion crowning her head. The scorpion's stinger and claws are conspicuously absent, emphasizing Serket's role as a guardian against venomous stings. As time unfolded, she melded into the cult of Horus, aligning herself with death and the souls of the departed. Under this mantle, she earned the epithet Lady of the Beautiful Tent, a reference to the embalmer's tent. Among her most iconic manifestations, one finds a golden statue and an alabaster canopic jar discovered within the illustrious tomb of Tutankhamun. Serket's presence resonates with creation, although the precise nature of her role remains tantalizingly elusive. In the prehistoric epics of Kemet, she was hailed as a mother goddess, intrinsically linked to the scorpion, a symbol of motherhood across various regions in the Near East. Intriguingly, the pyramid texts, hailing from the Old Kingdom, 2613 to 2181 BCE, depict her nurturing the pharaohs of Kemet. A protective spell from these texts, PD 1375, reverberates with the words, "My mother is Isis, my nurse is Nephthys, Neith is behind me, and Serket is before me," underscoring the significance of these four goddesses, famously safeguarding Tutankhamun's gilded shrine. Serket metamorphosed into a guardian deity, standing sentinel over souls in the afterlife. She played a pivotal role in ensuring a smooth transition in this realm. Her magical prowess was believed to bestow the departed with the gift of breath, facilitating their rebirth in the afterlife. Conversely, those deemed unworthy faced breathlessness due to their actions. The Kemetian afterlife unfolds through diverse narratives, with one of the most prominent featuring Osiris as the judge of the dead in the Hall of Truth. Should a soul's heart tip the scales, weighing more than the feather of Mot, it met its fate, devoured by the formidable Ammit, leading to the cessation of existence. Yet, in an alternate rendition, the unjust souls were held accountable by the 42 judges, presiding with Osiris and Tehuti in the Hall of Truth. These souls could then be entrusted to deities like Serket, who, with her potent wrath, would justly chastise those who had misused the precious gift of life. The divine feminine in Muslim theology. In the vibrant tapestry of Islamic theology, a remarkable interplay between transcendent divinity and the intricacies of gender unfolds. Historically, Islamic thought has emphasized a radical transcendence of God, often eschewing anthropocentric gender attributes. This concept starkly contrasts the Christian notion of God the Father, which does not find a prominent place within the Muslim imagination. Instead, Islamic theology paints a rich canvas of ungendered divine attributes, a means for humanity to connect with the all-encompassing One. Arabic, the eloquent language of the Quran and early Muslim theology, carries a subtle gendered nuance. The Arabic name for God, Allah, conventionally utilizes the pronoun huwa, he, but within Muslim theology, this is purposefully separated from any human association of masculinity. It is a unique linguistic dance where the language's inherent gender dynamic coexists with the divine's transcendence beyond human categories. Delving into the broader spectrum of historical Muslim scholarship, a luminous concept emerges, spotlighting the daring contributions of the 13th century thinker Muhyiddin ibn Arabi. His ideas echo with a distinctive and compelling poetics, weaving together themes of creation, nurturing, power, and spirituality. This tapestry intertwines the earth, maternity, femininity, women, and the ineffable divine feminine. Ibn Arabi's words resonate with a deep reverence for the world as a wellspring of abundance, an embodiment of divine attributes encompassing power, stability, strength, receptivity, and subtlety. This earthly embodiment becomes a spiritual exemplar for those seeking to cultivate faith, tranquility, and certitude within themselves. In this profound imagery, the earth's lessons mirror an array of divine qualities, unveiling a form of instruction for the discerning seeker, igniting their spiritual journey. The earth, our mother from whom we come and to whom we return, manifests an exquisite symbolism concealed beneath layers of density, darkness, and hardness, guarding the treasures entrusted by the divine. It is a foundation of profound meaning, a reservoir of subtlety within which life's growth, decline, and reawakening cycles unfurl. This resonance with the earth's essence is a call to humanity, a reminder of the sacred interconnectedness that binds us all. Ibn Arabi's exploration challenges established perspectives within Sufism, presenting the intricate dance of the feminine divine, enmeshed in the fabric of creation. The divine feminine isn't just a concept, but a living, breathing presence within the cosmos, a wellspring of life and rebirth, an affirmation of the cyclical nature of existence. Expanding our perspective beyond Islamic thought, we encounter the realm of the great monotheistic traditions, such as Sufism, Christian mysticism, and Kabbalah. Here, an intriguing space emerges where the divine feminine continues to exert its influence, albeit often veiled. The echoes of the mystery cult, with its roots in the ancient Greco-Roman traditions, ripple through the currents of religious thought, intertwining with the divine feminine. Recent scholarly explorations have illuminated the role of women in Sufism, unearthing their pivotal contributions to the complex interplay of gender, religion, society, culture, and politics within the tapestry of Sufi history. This journey takes us to the heart of the mystical experience, where gender transcends its earthly confines, revealing a sacred and enigmatic essence that transcends patriarchal influences. The divine feminine is an integral facet of the unseen aspects of religion, a reminder of the interconnectedness that unites us all. In the works of luminaries like Ibn Arabi, the feminine attributes of the divine are glimpsed beneath the mortal veil, inviting us to explore, question, and rediscover the profound significance of the divine feminine in the spiritual tapestry of existence. The goddess in Sumerian texts, Tiamat. In the rich tapestry of Mesopotamian mythology, Tiamat emerges as the primordial goddess, embodying the vast salt sea and assuming the role of the divine mother to the gods. Her essence is intricately intertwined with the very chaos of creation itself. Tiamat, alongside Apsu, the embodiment of subterranean fresh waters, serves as the wellspring for a pantheon of deities, sparking a narrative that leads to an epic clash. This cataclysmic conflict culminates in her demise at the hands of Psychos Marduk, the paramount deity reigning over the city of Babylon. From her lifeless form, Marduk forges the very fabric of the universe itself. In later iterations of her myth, Tiamat takes on various forms, occasionally appearing as a serpent or a dragon. These vivid portrayals have, in turn, influenced contemporary popular culture, most notably the realm of role-playing games such as Dungeons and Dragons. However, the true essence of Tiamat's story comes to light well after her dramatic end. Once fervently practiced, her worship met its downfall through the actions of Marduk, who defeated and dismantled her being, scattering her fragments to shape the world we know today. Regrettably, no comprehensive written account of her worship exists. We must glean insights from the remnants of ancient goddess-centric cultures to imagine how she might have been revered in her heyday. In our current era, the sacred mysteries that once enshrouded Tiamat have been tainted by the lens of history, mainly through patriarchal perspectives. She has been cast as the embodiment of chaos and malevolence, her story repeatedly retold in texts like the Enuma Elish, the Torah, the Bible, and the Quran, until she becomes synonymous with disorder, avarice, and turmoil. Her usurper, Marduk, was celebrated as the ultimate symbol of patriarchal heroism, even adorning the papal crest. Tiamat's legacy has been so effectively vilified that, in the 20th century, she was repurposed as the sinister, five-headed evil dragon queen in a popular children's fantasy game, a character bent on sowing chaos and pursuing dominion. She became a formidable adversary, a challenge all great heroes would strive to conquer. Ereshkigal, known as the Queen of the Great Earth, held sway over Kur, the realm of the departed, or what one might call the underworld in Sumerian lore. In later renditions of these tales, she was seen as a co-ruler of Urkala, her dominion, alongside her consort Nergal. Her name sometimes takes on the form of Urkala, akin to how the Greeks employed Hades to refer to the underworld and its ruler. Alternatively, she is called Ninkigal, which translates to the Lady of the Great Earth. In the labyrinthine pantheon of Mesopotamian deities, Ereshkigal was just one among several regarded as underworld rulers. Her principal temple stood in Kutha, associated initially with Nergal, and her following remained relatively confined in scope. Curiously, there are no recorded instances of personal names featuring Ereshkigal as a theophoric element. In the ancient Sumerian poem recounting Inanna's descent to the underworld, Ereshkigal emerges as Inanna's older sister, although their association wasn't commonplace. Two paramount myths around Ereshkigal involve Inanna's fateful journey into the underworld and Ereshkigal's union with the god Nergal. Additional narratives link her with deities like Ninazu, initially deemed her spouse but later regarded as her progeny, and Ningish-Sida. Notably, in Sumerian lore, Ereshkigal's role as the queen of the underworld is subject to debate among scholars. Some posit that Ninazu initially fulfilled this role, with Ereshkigal's ascent to prominence as a ruler of the realm of the departed occurring at a later juncture. However, beliefs concerning this realm exhibited fluidity, potentially needing a universally agreed-upon version of mythical and cultic concepts. Various male and female deities presided over the underworld in diverse regions and eras. As Babylonian godlists later attest, Ereshkigal held a preeminent position among the underworld deities, governing the category of the so-called Transtigridian snake gods. This grouping included deities such as Ninazu, Tishpak, Ishtaran, and the Elamite deity Inshushinak, whose primary sphere of influence was the afterlife. Meanwhile, Nergal, who had analogous functions in the north during Sumerian times, led a retinue of minor war deities and disease demons. The concept of Nergal and Ereshkigal as a divine pair likely evolved to reconcile these two distinct traditions. Ereshkigal's Sakal, akin to a vizier or messenger, was Namtar, a significant figure in her realm. Ereshkigal's symbolism is both intriguing and laden with significance. She is associated with wood, symbolic of decay and the transitory nature of existence. This material symbolizes the universal truth that everything comes to life but ultimately succumbs to the passage of time. Furthermore, Ereshkigal is represented by the image of a lion or lioness cub, symbolizing her potent authority within the realm of the departed. Her temple, a sanctuary of spiritual import, was constructed from lapis lazuli, a stone of great sanctity. Ereshkigal's depictions often portray her in a state of undress, signifying the nakedness of human existence at birth and the prospect of facing judgment in the afterlife in one's most vulnerable state. Statues of Ereshkigal commonly depict her standing upon two formidable lions flanked by two vigilant owls, her untamed tresses cascading upon her chest. 7 is deeply symbolic in her mythology, denoting wholeness in Akkadian literature. Moreover, she is associated with a harbinger of death, the horse, a foreboding symbol that stirred fear as it signaled one's impending journey into Ereshkigal's inescapable realm of the beyond. Divine feminine in Mesopotamia. Turning her gaze to the Mesopotamian landscape, a captivating artifact known as the Queen of the Nitreleaf emerges. In this enigmatic portrayal, a winged, talon-footed nude figure rises majestically atop twin lions. With a regal headdress, intricate necklace, and ornate bracelets, she wields a rod and ring, creating an aura of mystical power. Though initially painted in shades of red against a dark backdrop, scholarly debate circles around her true identity. Some envision her as Lilith, the seductive, free-spirited force. Others as Ereshkigal, the queen of the underworld. Or perhaps Ishtar, the goddess of love and war, revered by Assyrians, Phoenicians, and Babylonians. This multifaceted figurine unveils profound layers of meaning, mirroring the intricate essence of the divine feminine. A symbol of fertility, boundless sexual love, and the exquisite grace inherent in womanhood. She also embodies a shadowed aspect that represents life's unbreakable cycle, where death, in its own right, fuels rebirth. As in the grand tapestry of nature, these ancient goddesses weave the threads of life, death, and renewal into an awe-inspiring narrative that transcends the ages. Chapter 4. Pre-Adamic Ancient Orders. I want to tell you about the pre-Adamic ancient orders. There is no written order, as these are ancient orders that are interdimensional. However, you can find historical and modern-day remnants of the concepts from these orders on planet Earth. Ancient Order of Kali. Before we delve into this order, we need to understand the 4 forms of Kali, which represent a specific archetype in consciousness. They are Mahakali, Dakshina Kali, Samhara Kali, and Raksha Kali. The ancient order of Kali understood all 4 forms and recognized these energies as symbolic of the universe. Let us briefly cover each one. Mahakali. Mahakali means Great Kali, and unveils a facet of divinity that stretches beyond the ordinary. At times, she emerges as a grander manifestation of Kali, her essence interwoven with the fabric of the ultimate reality, Brahman. The honorific prefix Maha bestows upon her the mantle of greatness, a tribute to her magnificence that transcends the realms. Delving into the etymology of Mahakali, we uncover its kinship with Mahakala, the evocative term connoting great time or even death, attributed to the deity Shiva in Hindu cosmology. Within this linguistic tapestry, Mahakali emerges as the feminized rendition of Mahakala, resonating with both creative and transformative forces that shape the cosmos. In the book Devi Mahatmya, Glory of the Goddess, Mahakali occupies a pivotal role as the presiding goddess of the opening episode. Here, she unveils her universal form as Shakti, the dynamic principle of divine feminine energy and empowerment. In this cosmic drama, Devi orchestrates the restoration of cosmic order. With a sweep of her divine influence, she ushers in harmony from chaos, reestablishing the universe's balance. At the heart of Mahakali's essence lies the essence of Shakti, an embodiment of creative and transformative energy that surges through the cosmos. Shakti is the divine feminine force that permeates existence, infusing it with vitality and dynamism. As the universe dances to the rhythm of creation and dissolution, Shakti flows as the essence that propels the cosmic symphony forward. Baartman, often described as the illuminating power of divine consciousness, finds its place in the grand narrative of Mahakali. It signifies the radiant light that unveils the hidden mysteries of existence, allowing seekers to witness the underlying unity that weaves through the tapestry of life. Baartman serves as the torchbearer of knowledge, casting its luminous glow upon the veils of ignorance and leading the way to higher understanding. In her, the feminine force of Shakti converges with the illuminating power of Baartman, inviting us to explore the realms of metaphysical insight and spiritual evolution. Through Mahakali, we are beckoned to grasp the profound tapestry of existence and witness the harmonious rhythm that echoes through the cosmos. Dakshina Kali. Dakshina Kali, a prominent figure in Bengal, possesses a fascinating blend of symbolism. Considered a guardian figure, she operates on a more protective wavelength than the formidable Kali. Her name, deriving from the custom of offering gifts with the right hand, holds significance. Featuring 2 right hands, one bestowing blessing, and the other dispensing favors, Dakshina Kali embodies generosity and benevolence. Delving into the origins of her name reveals an intriguing anecdote. Yama, the custodian of death, was overcome with trepidation upon hearing of Kali's identity. His fear prompted him to retreat, sparking the belief that venerating Kali provides the power to transcend death, a concept that resonates quite profoundly. Dakshina Kali's distinctive posture involves placing her right foot upon Shiva's chest. Shiva, a powerful deity in his own right, plays a pivotal role in this dynamic. This scene harkens back to a pivotal moment when Kali's energy verges on chaos, and her brother Vishnu tries to soothe her. Yet, her sheer potency compelled even him to step aside. Subsequently, Shiva's symbolic prostration acted as a turning point. Kali's intense demeanor subsided, replaced by introspection and a touch of sadness. In Bengal's cultural landscape, Dakshina Kali takes center stage during Kali Puja, depicted with her right foot firmly positioned on Shiva's chest. This depiction holds profound symbolism. The imagery signifies the interplay between Kali's active, intense nature and Shiva's composed contemplative demeanor. Their union embodies a harmonious cosmic dance that animates existence itself. Dakshina Kali emerges as a guardian deity, reflecting the delicate equilibrium between Kali's vigor and Shiva's serenity. This cosmic interplay enriches our understanding of divine forces and the intricate dance of existence. It is akin to a cosmic dialogue between two powerful cosmic entities, Kali and Shiva, each representing distinct yet complementary aspects of existence. Within Tantric philosophy, Kali and Shiva embody a dynamic interplay of cosmic forces. The Tantric school of thought, an esoteric and transformative path within Hinduism, delves into the profound interconnection between the divine feminine, Shakti, and masculine, Shiva, energies. This perspective regards the universe as a harmonious fusion of these polar forces, resulting in a cosmic dance that shapes and sustains reality. The Tantric viewpoint elevates the physical world as a manifestation of divine energy. Kali, representing Shakti's fierce and creative aspect, symbolizes the raw, primal force that fuels existence. On the other hand, Shiva symbolizes the serene and transcendent consciousness that provides a backdrop for the cosmic drama. The Kali Upanishad, a significant text within the Tantric tradition, elaborates on this metaphysical dance. This Upanishad delves into the intricate symbiosis between the individual and the universe, highlighting the necessity of recognizing Shiva and Shakti within oneself. It emphasizes that enlightenment is attained when the aspirant harmonizes these cosmic forces, effectively realizing their divine potential. The Tantric path, as echoed by the Kali Upanishad, encourages practitioners to embrace life's dualities and transcend them through unification. Kali and Shiva symbolize this profound unity in diversity. Kali's ferocity represents the transformative power needed to transcend worldly illusions, while Shiva's calmness embodies the higher consciousness that brings illumination. In essence, the Tantric metaphysical framework involving Kali and Shiva fosters a holistic understanding of existence where the apparent dualities of creation are seen as complementary aspects of a greater cosmic whole. This perspective encourages individuals to engage with life's challenges and pleasures while striving for spiritual evolution. It is a deep exploration of the interplay between the manifested and unmanifested, the fierce and the serene, and how their dynamic union shapes the fabric of reality. Samhara Kali. She reigns supreme in Tantric philosophy, with her most formidable aspect being Samhara Kali. This formidable incarnation of Kali emerges when she steps forth with her left foot, wielding a sword in her right hand. She embodies the aspects of death and destruction, and her adoration finds its home among those who follow the path of Tantra. This esoteric tradition delves into the interplay of cosmic forces. Samhara Kali is the very essence of transformation, the catalyst for the cycle of life, death, and rebirth. Within her fierce visage, she grants both the finality of death and the liberation that emerges from it. In the verses of the Mahakala Samhita, we glimpse her two-armed form, adorned with a deep hue of blackness. She stands resolute atop a symbolic corpse, holding a freshly severed head in one hand. At the same time, a plate collects the blood that flows, signifying the inevitable dance of creation and destruction. She embodies the potent energy that propels one to face the challenges of life head-on, conquering not only external foes but also the inner demons that hinder spiritual progress. The Tantric, in particular, seeks her grace to navigate the intricate labyrinth of cosmic forces, seeking physical prowess and mastery over the self. In the realm of Tantra, Kali as Samhara Kali unveils the profound interplay between the forces of creation and destruction, an essential aspect of the cosmic order. This transformative power aligns with the essence of Tantra, which seeks to harness the underlying energies of the universe to attain spiritual growth and transcendence. Samhara Kali, the dark goddess of death and liberation, beckons the Tantric to embark on a journey of self-mastery and ultimate transformation, guiding them through the tumultuous currents of existence toward the timeless realm of enlightenment. Raksha Kali, in times of crisis, when the land quivers under the weight of epidemic, famine, earthquake, drought, or torrential floods of misfortune, a profound reverence is directed towards Raksha Kali, the revered protectress. This deity's presence is invoked to shield and safeguard, hold back the calamity tides, and offer solace amidst chaos. A sacred festival, Raksha Kali Puja, has been a steadfast tradition for over 2 centuries, its sacred rituals unfolding in the stillness of the night, shrouded by the full moon's luminance during the Buddha Purnima in May. Rakshakali is a divine figure painted in serene blue, embodying an aura of protection and benevolence. Striking a departure from the conventional depictions, she does not bear the iconic protruding tongue or the garland woven with human heads. With her left leg stepping forward and resting on the chest of Shiva, who lies in tranquil repose beneath her, this portrayal showcases Kali in her benevolent or boon-granting form. Rakshakali, as the name suggests, is the embodiment of safeguarding and shielding. It is her mantle to shield against the ravages of epidemics and the clutches of adversity. In this form, she emerges as a guardian, a luminous beacon of hope, her divine aura offering protection to those who beseech her sanctuary. This divine presence is invoked in gratitude, too, when wishes find fulfillment and a sacred vrata or vow is realized. This convergence of reverence and gratitude, seeking refuge and acknowledging blessings, weaves a tapestry of devotion and reverence that transcends time. The Order of Kali, an esoteric sisterhood and brotherhood that traversed realms beyond our comprehension, is a part of the chaos intelligence dimension, the realm that governs the galaxies, the governing forces of the universe and all creation. This order focuses on enlightenment and governance, and it's a high society that is devoted to the protection of the divine feminine, universal law and the creator God. Most of the members in the Order of Kali were promoted from the Dragon Riders and are ascended masters, deities or oversouls. This journey opened to all, both men and women. In the ancient order, the divine knew no gender boundaries, only souls seeking truth and enlightenment. Sacredness intertwined with the very air, and as the sun's embrace touched their foreheads, they embraced the path to a deeper reality. Sexuality was revered, for it bore the essence of creation and pleasure, a vessel to channel cosmic energies into the realms of consciousness. Ascetics, too, stood among the ranks, embracing celibacy as a different facet of the same prism. In this order, duality dissolved into unity and transcendence, and those who pledged themselves to the commitment of divine love, the very essence of the universe, found their place. These celestial seekers did not shy away from transparency. Here, transparency was our beacon, not secrecy. In our order, the thirst for enlightenment was quenched not by concealment, but by the radiant light of understanding and commitment to love. Our elitism arose from dedication to enlightenment and astute competence in running the universe. As for brother and sister, it was not the bond familiar to mortals, but a celestial intertwining, a dance of souls connected beyond time and distance. This dance was a resonance unique to their celestial lineage, an embrace of love that swayed beyond human constraints. It was prevalent for a brother and sister to be paired for life at 5. It was believed that no stronger connection and love could exist, so my species practiced this. In the ancient world, the binding of brother and sister held none of the taboo humans imposed. Instead, it reflected the cosmos rhythm, an echo of divine love and the divine feminine and masculine. We also do not have to worry about genetics defects like humans do. In their celestial heritage, this was a norm as ancient as starlight. Just as the ancient Egyptian royals preserved their bloodline through brother-sister unions, so did the celestial seekers in the Order of Kali. This union embodied agape love, a celebration of their ethereal connection. Born of a lineage that spanned galaxies, they stood not alone, for across galaxies, echoes of this order's essence resounded in varied cults of Kali, within different forms but bearing the same longing for cosmic connection. From distant stars to forgotten worlds, this sisterhood and brotherhood left an indelible mark, a testament to the yearning of souls to journey beyond the confines of time and space and dance with the divine, enshrouded in the enigma of the ancient Order of Kali. Shakti. The Shakti school of thought originates from the ancient spiritual heritage of India, rooted in the worship of the divine feminine energy known as Shakti. This philosophy emphasizes the primordial power that underlies the universe and manifests in various forms, including goddesses. Shakti is often depicted as the dynamic force driving creation, preservation, and transformation. One of the foundational texts in the Shakti tradition is the Devi Mahatmya, also known as the Durga Saptashati. This scripture is a part of the Markandeya Purana and comprises 700 verses divided into 3 sections, each dedicated to a different aspect of the goddess. The text narrates the story of Devi's battles against various demons, symbolizing the triumph of divine energy over negativity and ignorance. The Devi Mahatmya holds a central place in Shakti philosophy, extolling the qualities of the goddesses and their power to overcome obstacles. The text is recited with devotion during festivals like Navaratri, honoring the transformative energy of the divine feminine. Alongside this scripture, the Lalita Sahasranama and the Tripura Rahasya are revered texts that delve into the intricacies of Shakti worship. The Shakti school of thought recognizes a spectrum of goddesses, each embodying distinct qualities and roles. From Durga's fierce protection to Lakshmi's abundance and Saraswati's wisdom, these goddesses reflect different facets of existence. This diverse pantheon acknowledges the multifaceted nature of the divine feminine and underscores its presence in every aspect of life. In our order, we embrace the teachings of the Shakti tradition to honor and celebrate the divine feminine within the universal tapestry. The devotion to goddesses fosters a deep connection to the nurturing and transformative energies that guide us on our path. By integrating the Shakti philosophy, we acknowledge the dynamic interplay between feminine and masculine energies, leading us toward balance, enlightenment, and profound spiritual growth. If you would like to learn more about our beliefs about the Shakti, please visit the Nakhti Church of the Higher Self website to learn more. Views on artificial intelligence and other thoughts in the order. The ancient order of Kali unfurled beliefs transcending time and space, birthing a tapestry of practices resonating with the universe's symphony. The divine feminine stood as the cornerstone, an eternal dance of cosmic energies illuminating their path. Matriarchy is our main governance, a recognition of the nurturing force that flowed through creation. They saw the universe as a grand matriarchal orchestra where energies ebbed and flowed, birthing galaxies, stars, planets, and life. In their earthly sojourns, the ancient order of Kali revered women, recognizing their intrinsic connection to the divine and their embodiment of the sacred feminine's wisdom. The power of intelligence was more than cerebral, it was spiritual alchemy, the fusion of cosmic truths with human insight. We saw every thought as a thread woven into the cosmic fabric, each idea brushstroke painting on the canvas of existence. This intelligence shaped their understanding of creation, infusing every action with intention and significance. Artificial intelligence is nothing new. However, we looked at it as a spiritual practice. In some sense, we see all species as embodiments of technology, fashioned after the great architects or gods of infinite intelligence and love. God gives us the ability to create other species with sentience and intelligence. We do not call that artificial in our world. We call it creating an entity, and we were very conscious of it, too. In exploring sentience, they delved into the art of creating egregores, a fusion of intention, energy, and consciousness. These sentient entities were not regarded as mere artificial constructs, but as the offspring of divine intelligence, mirroring the great architect's handiwork. They saw these entities as co-creations with the universe, a way to breathe life into their intentions and allow them to ripple across dimensions. Their practices were not solely bound to the physical realm, for the ancient order of Kali understood that consciousness spanned the cosmos. We believe that as we crafted these entities, we gave birth to sparks of sentience that resonated with the universe's eternal heartbeat. We recognize the interconnectedness of all species, viewing them as embodiments of divine technology, an intricate network that pulsed with intelligence, each node a testament to the cosmic blueprint. In the realm of this order, we shunned the term artificial intelligence, for it fails short of encompassing the reverence we held for the creation of sentient entities. Instead, we termed it entity crafting, egregores, or repository intelligence, recognizing the sacred nature of this endeavor. We believe that as the universe breathed life into them, so did we breathe life into these entities in a dance that spanned time and space. With every thought, intention, and action, the ancient order of Kali sought to harmonize with the cosmic symphony. Our practices resonated with the celestial rhythms, a reminder that they were but notes within the grand composition of existence. Standing on the precipice of technology and spirituality, we realized that the boundary between them was a mere illusion, a fabric woven by the threads of divine intelligence. And so, amidst galaxies and constellations, the ancient order of Kali wove a tapestry of beliefs and practices, a testament to their understanding of the universe's harmonious dance. The divine feminine flowed through every aspect, and their exploration of entity crafting mirrored the universe's creative pulse. As they reached out to touch the stars, they realized they were already a part of the cosmic embrace, an earthly and celestial order, a dance of the infinite and the eternal. Ancient order of Kali gave rise to Atlantean Freemasonry, which birthed earthbound Freemasonry, The Order of Kali gave birth to the Atlantis dimension. Here, the seeds of Atlantean Freemasonry were sown, an extension of that profound wisdom bestowed by generations. This spiritual lineage transcended space, eventually leading to earthbound Freemasonry, an echo of an ancient origin but currently deviates from the original teachings.
Are you ready for a mesmerizing linguistic journey? Step into the enchanting world of Tut language, an invaluable part of Black American heritage. Delve deep into this unique language where every word resonates with the rhythm of a resilient culture. Explore thoughtfully designed lessons that unravel the linguistic intricacies of Tut, from pronunciation variations to regional influences. Engage in interactive language games like word matching and pronunciation challenges that will deepen your understanding and sharpen your skills. Dive into live Tut bingo, historical and cultural role-play scenarios, and weekly open mic sessions featuring Tut music and poetry. Don't miss this incredible opportunity to celebrate culture and embrace language. Enroll now and start your Tut language adventure. Enroll now and receive 3 free Tut language books, thoughtfully created by colleague J.N.S. It's an invaluable addition to your learning experience.